Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly Shlog here at Highland Cycles. This is our weekly shop vlog. If you're new here, consider sticking around, watching with us. If you got here from the YZ build or a race video or something like that, this is our weekly thing we do. They come out on Mondays around 4 p.m. Mountain Time. And it's just a week in the life of a small motorcycle shop in Western Colorado, where we work on mainly dirt bikes, every now and then super duper sexy street bikes, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. We do tool spotlights, tech tips, instructional stuff. We test things here. The channel itself is all about all things dirt bikes. So if that sounds like fun, here we go. All right, guys, so first on the list is actually up here to just look up some parts. Got to figure out some stuff. He wants to put a capacitor on this thing and a kickstart kit. So I'm going to be hunting that down for this 23 250 XCW is what this is. Beautiful bike, nice rig. And then also, I already got into this morning. Sorry I didn't show you because it doesn't really matter because I didn't fix anything. But it's got an oil leak. And I dug in and I found out that there's a neutral switch behind here. It's a plastic cover with a switch on it, or like not a switch, but a sensor really, and an O-ring, and it's leaking out of that. And the plastic where the bolts go through is broken. I'm sure the O-ring is all junk because that's a 1985. Yamaha, funny enough, had the plastic part, the actual sensor. It did not have the O-ring, so we got found on Amazon OEM stuff. Anyway, got that all. Pretty excited about it. So that's all coming. Yeah, let's dive in and take a look and see what we can find here. So, all right, guys. So I found it on KTM.com in the power parts. So we've got that sucker coming and a capacitor from Takamoto, and then he wants some bar ends. So we're going to use the G-Rip ones from Rick Emerson over in the Front Range. So we'll get that all coming right away, get that done, and then yeah, let's go on to the next job. All right, guys, the next job is changing out some tires. These are from a Husqvarna FES of some sort, because it's got the TKC 80s on it with no rim locks or anything like that. Customer brought in some Motos, whatever. The Australian things that everybody really likes, which seem to be good tires. I've never run one, but they seem to be good, especially for dual sport stuff. I brought in some tubes, some heavy-duty tubes, because the stock ones they're not great. They're actually not as bad as like the Japanese ones, but these are much nicer. All-natural rubber tube, also from Motos. And then he brought in some sweet rim locks from Warp 9. I didn't know Warp 9 made these style aluminum rim locks. These are really, really nice. So might have to buy some of these to have them on the shelf, because we stock the Motion Pro ones, which are plastic, and actually really like those too. But these are nice. They don't weigh much, and yeah, that's sweet. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm going to be mentioning that too. All right. Next on the lift is this PW 50 or Pee-wee 50. And really, this is going to be super simple, super straightforward. It's just been sitting a long time. You can see this is what gas does when it sits. It turns into shellac, varnish. So anyway, gotta take that sucker off, get it really cleaned up. The other thing is the throttle cable is just super gnar. Anyway, it doesn't really turn. And I don't know if it's the cable necessarily or the slide just being stuck in there, but I have a new cable, and we're going to clean this up. So let's get that thing off, get the ultrasonic heated up. Yeah, I'll show you what's inside of a PW50 carb. Guys, this thing actually super important not to lose. You'd be amazed at how many people lose these things. It goes right over this little spout here and goes inside here, so let's keep that out of the way. If you guys could smell this, if you've ever worked on old carburetors, you definitely know what this thing smells like. It's gross. Yeah. All right. Whole thing in the ultrasonic, probably for quite a while. All right, so while that thing's cooking, let's take the throttle apart, because this slid out no problem. So let's get that throttle apart and see how bad that is. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's just a cable. I can't stop. So guys, it turns out to remove the throttle cable, you also have to remove the cable that goes to the oil pump, which is fine, I get that, but then that means you got to take the pipe off, which is again no big deal, P-dub, but it's quite a thing. So we're getting close. All right, so now gotta set you guys down. All right guys, got it off. Definitely the cable, so good deal. Guys, if you can hear that, oh, he stopped it. So you heard it for a second though, that whiny, squeaky little noise. There it is. Where is it? Aha! So, Mr. Sheets tried to fix his air hose with rescue tape. This is the silicone stuff right there. And it works on a lot of things. And he was so proud that it worked on the air hose. I didn't want to say anything because I wanted to see if it would actually work, but I have tried that before and it has never worked. To Zach's credit, it worked longer than I've ever seen it work, but it always does that. And I'm honestly at least a little bit happy that that's how it ended up. Just because, yeah. So while the rescue tape is very useful on radiator hoses and all kinds of other things, it does not stand up to 150 PSI. Oh, that was awesome. So, PW50, cleaned the carburetor in the ultrasonic. I didn't show you the details, but it actually took 2 runs through the ultrasonic because that gas is super old and disgusting. Also took blowing the petcock out and like getting after that pretty heavily. And but check it out. So these things, guys, if you've never owned one, you got to put it in the start position, not run position, start. And then with our hands, get it started. But if you try to do this, it's got a limiter on it. Then you go run, and there we go. Always really, really, really happy to get a little mini bike running, because that means the little kid's gonna go out and have fun on a dirt bike, which will hopefully lead to an entire lifetime of dirt bikes and awesomeness. So anyway, that's ready to rock and roll. Super happy about that. Now we just, I got a whole bunch of stuff I got to clean up. Then we'll get on to the next job. All right, guys, next on the lift is a good one. We got a Husaberg 250 that we're turning into a Husaberg 300. If you guys don't know, this is a Husaberg, but actually it's just a rebranded KTM. They had, I forget exactly how many years, 1 or 2 years, maybe 3. They had their 2-strokes were just rebadged KTMs, like no difference whatsoever, while they were switching over to the Husqvarna name. So KTM had owned Husaberg for a very, very long time, actually since the late 80s, I think, because they wanted their 4-stroke technology back then. And then in 09, I believe. What are you doing? I think it was 09. They scrapped all of the actual Husaberg stuff. They built that crazy 70-degree motor, 4-stroke thing that was all KTM, just again rebadged, and completely different from every other KTM. But then the 2-strokes, they just branded them Husabergs until in 14 or 15. Again, someone out here who's some super nerd's going to know the exact date. They switched and they started calling them Husqvarna. So anyway, this is just an older style 2-stroke KTM. It's got the crazy abortion style starter over here, which is fine if you take good care of it. Yeah, we're taking this thing, we're making it into a 300. And I'll show you something, guys. You'll be so happy to see that. You can see here, yeah, there we go. Jeff Slavens. It's not all anger with Jeff Slavens around here. Actually, this guy bought that kit. It's a 300 kit from Jeff, and then he brought it over to us to have us actually do it. So get parts from those guys, take it to the guy you trust to do the work. So I don't think Jeff even does work anymore. So it's not a cut on him. Although, it's fun too. Anyway, let's take this thing apart. Let's get a 300 kit on it. All right, guys, got everything apart, cleaned up and happy. Yes, this is a little bit dirty. We got all the loose dirt off of here. Everybody settle down. But yeah, got that all cleaned up, happy. Rod feels perfect. Super happy about that. This happened. Not with me. This happened long before I got this bike. I think that's maybe actually why it's here. I gotta check. I'm pretty sure. I thought this was a 250 going to a 300. But now that I see this, he may have purchased a whole top end even though he didn't need it, because you can just buy this flange. But guys, this is why I don't run pipe guards, because when you hit something, the energy has to go somewhere, and instead of denting the pipe, a lot of times it'll flex and cause this to happen. So not a big fan of pipe guards, and that's the reason why. Let's dig into the box and see what we got. Boom. There we go. Whole new top end and everything. Pretty stoked about that. I love working with brand new gear. So yeah, let's measure this thing and see. I think this is bigger because seeing that versus that. Maybe it's just newer. Anyway, let's measure the bore. Oh yeah, that's definitely a 300. That's a 250. So sweet. That's awesome. I'm excited. I think this comes with everything, ECU, everything. So all of this, even the hose kit, I believe. Yep, hose kit, all this out of here, and we will get back. I think actually I take that back. These guys stay. But yeah, pretty much everything else goes. And the way these things come, they come with all new power valve parts, but they're not installed. So we are going to do that. Oh, I love shiny new stuff. All right, guys. So I totally jacked up the mic for this. Long story. Anyway, I'm describing a new tool I got from Ben Nicholson at First Track Moto. It's firsttrackmoto.com/Highlands Cycles. The link's in the description. It is from X-Grip, and it is for installing piston circlips on the KTMs. I'm going to show you how it works up here in just a second. All right, guys, so I've got the piston on the thing. Now here I show you that you install the circlip. It's actually a conical thing, so you just push it down through there and it installs. Then you take the rod, you push that in there. I'm sorry about my hand. I'm terrible at filming this close-up stuff, but I've got a hammer, and I just tap it really lightly. There we go. Just a few taps. Now, if we look in there closely, I'm going to get the camera here, pull it around. All right, now we're going to get in tight. You can see the circlip is installed perfectly with 0 issues. Super, super cool. Like I said, it's from Ben Nicholson at First Track Moto is where I got it. X-Grip makes it. Here I'm talking to all of you guys who are yelling at me for hitting the thing while it was on the connecting rod. Trust me, I did not hurt anything. Everything is just fine. It'll be rad. It's a super cool tool. I highly recommend it. All right, guys, there we go. Piston installed. That was pretty sweet. So now I'm just going to install the rest of the stuff. You see me do plenty of top end, so I'm not going to go into that. I'm just going to get this thing done and then get on. We have a couple other things we got to install. So do some foot pegs because he did that to that one. And then something else. Oh, yeah, the hose kit. So, yeah, deleting all that crap from the other hose. So actually going to have to take this one off too. It's got blue hoses, and basically the big thing is that we're deleting that thermostat, which I'm a big fan of. So yeah, we'll check back in when we get the thing fired up. All right, guys, got the 300 now, all ready to rock and roll. Starts good, runs really good. Man, we had a battle. The pipe did not want to fit. Again, it's because of that pipe guard. Everything looked okay, but everything was super, super tweaked. So I had to bend the end of the pipe that goes into the cylinder, get that lined up. That was good. Then had to do some serious torquing on the silencer. But anyway, it was a thing. And then, sorry I didn't film this, guys. I just wanted to get it done. The drain bolt, because I was changing the oil too, when I went to take it out, it was really stiff on coming out and then just spun. So we fortunately had a time cert the right size, so I put that in there. So that thing's super duper fixed now. And now I'm going to touch all the spokes, make sure they're good, touch nuts and bolts. But then the important thing is I'm going to fix that brake line routing. I'm going to take that brake caliper and move it inside. Well, move the line inside where it's supposed to go. So yeah, this thing's ready to rock and roll. This guy's gonna be stoked. All right, guys, next on the lift is this awesome BW200. Awesome because it's all there. Not that awesome because it's having trouble. This gentleman has 2 of these. He brought them both in, I think, last year. We put carburetors on them, like new carbs, because the old ones were just junk. Put these tires on them, the ATV tires on them, and yeah, super stoked. They've been good. This one, the other one's running great. This one started having problems, and so he brought it in. He was hoping it was a carburetor problem, because that would be relatively easy, but it's not. So I was riding it around. It starts up, runs great initially, and ride around. So much fun, by the way. These things are so fun. Then all of a sudden it starts going south. It's really bad at low RPM. Kind of cleans out and runs okay up top. Anyway, pretty sure we got a stator and a pickup coil situation, so let's dive in. All right, guys, so stator lives behind here. The beauty of this bike, it's so simple. It just got 4 wires coming out of it. It's got an exciter coil and a pulsar coil. We get our meter. Gonna put it on resistance, le resistance. And then we're going to check white and green. And I looked up the specs. Let me see. Not easy to find information on these, but I actually found a whole manual online. So, pickup coil resistance. So that's the pulsar / crank position sensor / tells it when to fire. 265 ohms plus or minus 10%. That's white to green. And it's interesting, it's coming down, so it's 298. This was up over 300. I've already tested this, sorry. I already know the answer to this, but, and actually this is good because it was up over like almost 310 just a little bit ago. It's cooling off and coming down. Now that's gonna happen somewhat no matter what. Like that's how electronics work. Resistance goes up as they get hot, but it was way outside. 25% of 265, or 10% of 265 is 26. So that would be 285. So we're already out of that, even cooled down a bit. So that's no good. Then we come here to our source coil or exciter coil. And that is supposed to be 415 plus or minus 10%. And we're 483, so 415 like plus 10% would be an extra 41 or 42 ohms, so would be 450 something. Yeah, anyway, this is way high. So it needs a stator and pickup coil. The bummer is those don't exist. They're really expensive if you do find one, on at least the parts fish says. So I'm reaching out to you guys. Does anyone know of a stator and pickup coil for a BW? This guy, the family has owned these things since brand new. The dad bought like 4 BWs, the big, these ones, and then some little ones. Anyway, back when they were brand spanking new, 85, 86, everybody had them. Some of the other ones went down the road. 2 of them remain, and he really wants them to keep them running because they're awesome. So if anyone out there knows of a BW pickup coil and stator, or the ignition system for these, please let me know, because yeah, I'd like to see this running. I did find a place that will rebuild them. I'm also going to check around with some other places that might rebuild them, because yeah, it's too cool to let this thing go. So anyway, pretty rad. Let's get on to the next job. All right, guys, next on the lift is this beautiful, super duper clean KTM 500 EXC, owned by our good friend who takes crazy good care of it. I love working on this motorcycle because it's always clean, it's always in good shape, and all we do is service it and maybe add a part to it here or there, and it's just really rad. But you never know what the air filter is going to look like, and we have not done an air filter reveal in a long time. I have not taken this off yet. I'm expecting it to be good because generally it is, but you never know. So I figured it's time on the channel to get some more air filter content. So let's see. Super clean. And so is the air boot. Nice job, Nate. Obviously, it has not been in much dust since the last time it's been in here, so that's awesome too. Go get this sucker cleaned up, all prettied up. Get it oiled up really well and get back in there. Yeah, I don't have anything else that I'm really doing, except for some new levers. He bent them. That one's bent more than this one. I think he said this one's got a little bit of a bend to it too, so we'll replace that and keep it all nice and straight for him. Oh, also, quick mail time, guys. Really super excited about a couple things that just showed up. Boom! Full TSP head for our YZ250 build. Yes! So excited about that. Oh, I cannot wait to put that on there. And massive thank you to Lance and Lisa at XC Gear for a Mako 360. Also, we got one of the first, I think, dually for a YZ. I'm running the dually on my KTM and on my Beta, but this is, I believe, the first YZ one that he's put out. I mean, he just put a video that he just came out with them. Maybe he's got some of them out there, but not a ton. Excited about that because I love having those attached. They don't move around. The other style was fine, but if you crashed weird, it would kind of torque things. So yeah, psyched about that. Guys, that's the end of the week, the end of the Shlog. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'm actually sitting here editing the Shlog. I'm a little bit behind on that because we went to Thunder Valley to watch the National this last weekend. Super rad, super fun time. Great racing in the 250s. Super, super great racing in the 250s, especially Moto 1. Yeah, anyway, I love you guys. If you stuck with us this long and you have not yet, consider hitting the subscribe button. It really does help us a ton. It's a goal of mine to grow this thing to a giant channel. I want hundreds of thousands of subscribers because I want to be able to do really cool stuff. I want to travel the world, meet you guys, ride with you guys, test stuff in different conditions, not just out here in the West. All those things. And that requires you guys getting on board and hitting the subscribe button and telling your friends about this channel. Also, please consider using the links in the description. Rocky Mountain ATV, massive, massive, massive thank you to them. Links in the description for them. It helps us when you order from them. But again, first and foremost, please shop local. that makes a huge difference in your community. That's the most important thing in the world, right? Is your community. I'd like to believe that we are part of your community too, but I want you to take care of the local people first, and then maybe, you know, help us out by buying some stuff from Rocky Mountain through our link, or First Track Motorsports through our link, or maybe download Onyx Off-Road right now, because I think it's 20% off or something like that. So it's rad. Yeah, I love you guys. We'll see you on the next one.